Hello there. Can you hear me okay? I am trying to broadcast and use my headphones here as my microphone to get rid of any echoes, etc. I'm not going to jump right into the live presentation because I am waiting for, I believe it's going to be Nicole, to start streaming me into some of the groups that are covering this event. So as soon as I know that I'm live on in the places I'm supposed to be, then we can get started with this fun journal event. I hope that I'm in the right place. I'm sitting here at my kitchen table and I'm going to take a quick look. I think you can still see me. So I may right now be live on my own Liza Jane Designs page or Afton Creative Arts Studio page. When I am shared to the group, I'm going to start all over again. So bear with me here until I hear that I am streaming to the group. In the meantime, happy St. Patty's Day to y'all. This is the green that I could find in my closet. I only really remembered because I was watching the other ladies in the video today, and all of them were very on top of wearing their green. So my mother was a Kelleher. I forget which Irish county the family was from, but she would be happy to see me wearing Oh My Green today. Still waiting a little bit. It's only 5:01. The event that I am a part of features women from all over the country. Some of us are having technical difficulties. Some of us are having bad weather events. And all of us are excited to be a part of this really fun journaling event that is set up to benefit women in recovery. I apologize that this is kind of boring, I'm sure, just watching my face here. I see someone is watching. 3 people are watching. Aha, I just got my heads up that Nicole has shared me where I'm supposed to be. Thank you, Nicole. So let's start fresh from the beginning. My name is Liz, and I generally start my lives by saying, my name is Liz from Liza Jane Designs in the Afton Creative Arts Studio here in Afton, Minnesota. But today, because of the nature of the event that we are doing, I want to introduce myself a little bit differently. My name is Liz, and I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. I am thrilled to be here tonight with a number of years sobriety under my belt. I have been in long-term recovery myself from alcohol addiction for over 22 years. When I was asked to participate in this event, I absolutely said, yes, yes, this is something so very close to my heart. We are creating journals. There are, well, I counted the other day, 17 or so, maybe more of us from all over the country participating in this event to create recovery journals or journals to aid in the recovery of women who are working to overcome some homelessness, all, I believe, some form of addiction. And I know what's involved in that. I am thrilled to be a part. We have been organized by Nicole Prose of Sparkle Junkie. And Nicole has put all this together out of the goodness of her heart. She has on her heart somewhere to be of service to women in recovery. And as a woman in recovery, thank you, Nicole. Thank you on behalf of all of us, because I think it's wonderful to work to overcome, I don't know, the shame or I can't even think of the words right now, but just to take away any hard thoughts that get in the way of us sharing the reality of our addiction and our recovery. So right out here in the open, we are going to create a beautiful journal. We're highlighting papers today. If you've been watching, it does work if you work it, Samantha. And if I want to share, I go live fairly often. I don't know why I'm so nervous right now, maybe because it's such an important topic for me. I'm going to switch over to the more important view here and finish saying that we're grateful to Nicole Prose for pulling us all together for this event. And we are highlighting papers that have been so generously gifted to us by Shaylee Morehouse. So Shaylee Morehouse is a digital creator. You can find her on Facebook at Shaylee Morehouse Printables. She has created a special set of papers for us to use for this journaling event. And she also allows the free use of any of the papers that she's put on her site. So if you go to Shaylee Morehouse Printables, you will find and be inspired by beautiful, beautiful papers and templates that she makes available to creatives for their personal use, free of charge. So go check out Shaylee if you have not already. I am using, like most of the creators here on this journey, I'm using a combination of some of Shaylee's beautiful papers and also some that I had in my personal stash, and also some that I created myself with special notes for my sisters in sobriety. I have created some quotes of my own that were very, very meaningful to me. And I say were, I should say are, because the journey of recovery is lifelong. It's not something you accomplish and then move on to something else. It truly is one day at a time. And on the other side of addiction, on the side of recovery, we are gifted so much in the terms of a rich life, but it's one day at a time. We need to practice gratitude. We need to remember um, how we ended up where we ended up, and thank the good Lord for another chance at life. Let me go through some of the papers I have chosen for the journal I'm making for my sister in sobriety. Many of these are Shaylee's. This one I just think is lovely. It's understated in neutral colors. I did some double-sided printing. So when I downloaded Shaylee's papers for use, I printed them on two sides so that when we make this into the journal, we'll be able to, just turn the page and have plenty of space to write. Um, so we have a lot of Shaylee's gorgeous papers. These are Shaylee's. These are Shaylee's. Um, and I also cut out a lot of the embellishments that she has provided for us. I did take a few liberties, and I hope that Shaylee won't mind. Some of the words that she provided to us, I printed out as is, but I also added some of my own thoughts because recovery has its own language from the tokens we get when we achieve 30 days or 24 hours or 90 days of sobriety. They all say on them, to thine own self be true. It's an important aspect of recovery. I've printed that note for my sister in sobriety. I also, I got sober in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And when they say, how do we do it? Well, we do it by being honest, open, and willing. That's how. Everyone in the world, in recovery or not, most certainly needs God's grace. And we need our own grace. We need to give grace to ourselves and to our families and to each other. So grace, give it to God. That would be an important part of a recovery program, is to let go and let God. Grit and grace. Again, that grace message. But you also have to have grit to work your way on through uh, and stay on the road. Stay on the road of recovery. Um, a last that something else I learned in my recovery program was to accept life on life's terms. For a lot of people, and many alcoholics and addicts, we sometimes have a hard time with that. We can be stubborn. We can have our own ideas of what life should be, but until we learn to accept life on life's terms, we're going to be frustrated. So life on life's terms. Today, I had some good exposure to that with my husband and I own and operate an Airbnb, and our cleaning people weren't able to come today. So on top of preparing for this and the other things going on, we had to go and clean the Airbnb. So I'm not as well organized as I would like to be, but I know I have to accept life on life's terms. So these are messages for myself. They are also messages for my sisters in sobriety. Let me keep going on here on these papers. Um, these are double-sided Shaley. This is a watercolor paper that was done on a ledger sheet that's been reproduced here now. And inside, I used a couple of sheets of this, what do we call that? Grid paper, graph paper. And I put them together. You can see the little holes right here. This is creative photocopying. So the inside of some of these pages have the grid where we can write. You know, we've got straight lines. You could use them in any way that you want to make your journaling easier or neater. So we've got papers from Shaley again. Here's that watercolor on ledger paper. And inside of that, the grids. More grids. Nope, it's a Shaley paper on the back of a different one. So I really tried to use all the tools at my disposal. And we need to remember sometimes that our copy machines, our home printers, our everything can be part of the creative process. So I'm going to start putting some of these together, and we can start using some of Shaley's really cool embellishments to decorate this up and make the journal especially meaningful. I want to say hi and thank you to everyone who's watching. I see there's Samantha and Linda and Nicole. Thank you so much. And Laura, appreciate you being here. I am new to the Crafty Bunch. Mama P is an incredible human being, isn't she? And I'm participating in a journal project with Mama P in the Crafty Bunch, and I want to especially thank my good friend Michelle Allen for inviting me on this journey with the Beauty for Ashes Women's Transition Home. So Michelle knows my story. She knows I'm a person in long-term recovery. And she knows that this project is near and dear to my heart. So thank you, Michelle. If you're watching, I just want you to know how much I appreciate your asking me to be a part of this. So we're getting a pretty good journal start here. I have a few more pages, and I want to start adding a lot of the fun touches to these pages. Here's something I want to show you I was working on before I came live. Let's see if I can get this. Here we go. It's going to be a fold out, I guess. It's a little fold out. I don't know if you can read that. These are powerful words for me, a woman in recovery, and I can try to read these for you. I've shared these in my church as testament to what can happen. So this quote says, for a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. While this process can look like complete destruction to the untrained eye, it is actually the necessary transformative growth required to reach its highest potential. And I want to say to the women at Beauty from Ashes Transition House that if you haven't felt that yet, please understand that you're exactly where you need to be. And the falling apart comes right before the glorious transformation. So hang in there. I added a special note that says, hang in there, you got this, I promise. And I would like to show you how I created the envelope. I don't know what these things are called. Does anybody know what these are called? You push them through. I've made a little hole in here, pushed it through, and you spread it out so it's not coming through. I am going to adhere this quotation to cover up the flaps. And I've already taken some waxed thread and wrapped it around this part. This guy is on here now, so we'll close that up. And my sobriety sister can close that note, or she can open it whenever she wants to be reminded that growth can be painful, but it's growth. And the gifts are on the other side of the growth. So let's try, let's see, what was I using to adhere these today? I've got my box of book binding tools here, and this is a tape dispenser. So I'm gonna just roll on some tape in different spots. Oops. Just like so, like so. And now we've hidden the hardware under that paper. I did it here, I did it here. This will fold in. In one of my creative journeys, I used to do a lot of sewing and quilting. I love how we can take the tools of one craft and creative effort and just kind of mix them up a little bit and use them in another creative endeavor. So in this case, I think of seam binding or quilt binding, and I'm using paper to do it in this one. So I have these scrapbook papers that are coordinating colors, and I'm cutting them with my paper cutter into pretty thin strips so that I can use them as a binding around the raw edges of this fold out. I also cut out a sweet little butterfly from Shaylee's. I don't know where my butterfly went. It's here somewhere. So there's a sweet little butterfly that's going to go on there. But let's, here's the butterfly. Here is the little butterfly. So that's a little fussy cut butterfly from the gifts that Shaylee gave us so generously. I'm going to cut, it's not even a half an inch. Let's see if this is wide enough. Maybe, might be a little too thin. I'm gonna come back here and go maybe like a half an inch. There we go. And I'm going to just fold that in half to create that faux seam binding, right? So we have a seam binding out of paper to cover the edges. Of this envelope. I think that was a good size. That's going to go on there pretty well. I'm going to cut a couple more because I have this edge and then this small edge again. So let's cut some strips. Like some of the other creators, I've tried to watch as many of the videos today and yesterday as I could. This event started yesterday and it's been going hour after hour. Following me will be another presenter. And I have been learning quite a few things by watching the other women who are participating. So, like many, I am an eyeballer. I measure when I have to, I measure when it's important, but sometimes just eyeballing is pretty effective. And for me, if I don't try to be too precious or perfect, I can enjoy the process more. And it's my view that when we are having fun and we are enjoying what we're doing, we are better able to put love into what we're doing, and we are better able to put that positive energy that I think will be felt on the other end by the woman who receives the journal that we're creating. If we work with joy in our heart, I think that joy comes through into our efforts, and the person who receives it will be able to feel that. I am going to do these two sides. Yeah, there we go. I have my sewing machine here. I'm gonna see if I can, whoops, there it is. Let's see if I can take these over to my sewing machine and have you see again how I combine those things I used to do with quilts and clothing, and now I can do them in paper crafting. So my sewing machine is on. I'm going to capture this edge inside. I don't know who invented these things, but they are fabulous, right? Um, Way better than straight pins, in my opinion. They can do it all the things that straight pins can do. They never poke you, and they can just do a whole lot of other things besides. So I'm going to just do a straight stitch down the side of this to hold that paper binding to my envelope. And then I am going to snip the edge, snip the edge. I don't know if you can see me over there. I'm reaching through. Um, either you can see it or I can see it. So I think for right now, while I'm sewing, it might be more important that I be seeing it. So I'm going to clip that on, a couple of clips on this one. So I'm willing to bet that many of the folks watching have similar creative histories to mine, where we just love all the things. We love to create. period, whether it's paper or fabric or paint or yarn. I never met an art form I didn't want to try. The only one I haven't really been able to dabble in yet that I would like to is metal sculpting. I don't have the capacity to weld. I've done a little soldering in my life, but welding is a whole set of other skills and tools that may have to wait, for another lifetime if there is such a thing. I don't think I'm going to get there this time. But never say never. There is an artist school academy place in Mineral Point, Wisconsin, which is only a few hours away from here. And I know they teach metal sculpting and welding for the arts. It could happen maybe when I'm in my 80s or 90s. I don't know. But I have learned to never say never. But I can say not likely. Not likely that I'm going to get there this lifetime. All right, you guys. There is, let me hope this all came out. I think it's kind of cute. It looks a little bit like a wallet. I'm going to come back around and snip those threads. Coming back around here, checking the time. I have been live for, I don't know, about a half an hour. Let me turn this camera back. And I think it came out pretty well, right? So I got to cut those strings. Sometimes I do like to have some dangling. It's an aesthetic I enjoy, but for this, I'm going to mostly cut them off. And then we will fold that over. Let's see, I've got a nice bone folder here to make sure I'm getting a nice crisp fold in there, especially where I just sewed it and made it more layers of paper. Snip right there, snip this side and flatten that. I did make a note on one of the, this is my quote about a seed achieving its greatest expression and coming completely undone, which seems to be what some of us humans need to do too, to achieve our greatest expression. For many, many years, I attended a church here in the Twin Cities metro area. It's called the Recovery Church. And it was a Methodist church, so the cross was definitely an important symbol of our church. But besides the cross, our pastor, who was also a man in recovery from alcohol addiction, he chose a jack pine cone as our symbol. And the reason for that, he shared, was a jack pine cone is an ugly, not incredibly good looking tree, but it's a rough tree that grows in northern Minnesota and northern climates in general. So it's a scrappy kind of a pine tree. And they are the first thing to come back after. Oh, thanks, Anne. I think it would be neat too to to weld old metals together. But the jack pine is the first tree to grow back after a forest fire. And the reason for that is that it takes the heat of a forest fire for the jack pine to give up its seed and grow. Somehow my pastor, whose name was the Reverend Dr. Joe Camp, Pastor Joe thought that that stubborn reluctance to give it up was pretty much a wonderful metaphor for the addict, the alcoholic, who, I'll tell you, just speaking from my experience, we try about all the things before we decide to accept life on life's terms, or to feel even that we're worthy enough to give our problems to God. So the jack pine takes the heat of a forest fire to achieve its greatest expression. Butterflies too, right? They turn to green slime before they become butterflies. So I think there's a lot of metaphors and a lot of places in nature that reflect how difficult it can be for us to change. The caterpillar to a butterfly in the green slime stage, the jack pine not giving it up until there's no other choice. So I wrote, here it is, for my sister in sobriety. I'm going to stick that right on the front here, and I'm going to glue this into the journal, or somehow attach it. I may sew it into the journal, but I will figure out a way that she will be able to open that up, and I hope receive and feel the love and support that it's my intention to send. Just like crafters, we feel like we know each other. We're a special breed, right? Not everyone is as passionate about creativity and crafting as some of us are. It's our lifeblood, right? We live to create. We have to do it, and we have our own language. Well, women in sobriety, women in recovery, we have our own language too, or we develop our own language and tools to support one another. It's actually when I introduced myself and said that I was a grateful recovering alcoholic, I can remember hearing people say that when I first got into recovery. And I found it to be pretty annoying, frankly. What's to be grateful for? But I tell you, there is so much to be grateful for on the other side of recovery, the camaraderie, the sisterhood, the love of God that we finally know that we are worthy to receive. It's a wonderful thing. So that's going to go in the journal somewhere towards the beginning. Maybe I will even put it in right inside the front cover, which I had hoped to be a little further along with today. But let me share with you, I went through some old textiles that I have, and here's Shaylee's attachments, right? Or Shaylee's designs for embellishments. These are going to be pockets on some of the pages. And then I just think it was meant to be the way that this old vintage pillowcase coordinates so beautifully with Shaylee's designs in colors and even the patterns of the flowers. So this is going to be my cover. I watched, I forget her name. Uh, it may have been a Nicole, not Nicole Prose, but I watched another creator today, and she gave a shout out to Mama P when she was creating, talking about using Amazon envelopes to start out the journal, just to the journal cover to give it a little bit of body. And I have one here somewhere, but I'm afraid I've got stuff everywhere and I can't find it right now. Looking again for that envelope. Well, it's going to turn up. And when it does, this will become part of the cover. So we have the floral, we have the checks, we have very, very faded checks over here. So I think this part will be the front cover. Like many of the other journal creators, I use what otherwise might become trash. I use this cereal box weight cardboard is fabulous. So I will cut the cardboard down to size. Jeez, you guys, the table just isn't big enough. I will cut the cardboard down to size to make the cover for my signature. So we're going to come in here, I don't know, just a little bit bigger than this. I might be able to just use the cover as is. Let me see if I can get my X-Acto knife and try to cut some of this down to size. And you know, we use the word grace in here. I hope that y'all seem like lovely, wonderful human beings. And I hope you all will extend grace to me. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place with this effort. I'm gonna use the tunnel, the edge that's right here, and just try to come in and cut a fairly straight line. If I have to clean it up later with a ruler, I will. But I do have at least a guide in that fold where the box comes together. This is my husband's favorite cereal, and I buy giant packages of it for him at Costco. And the boxes just make great journal covers. They also make great pockets. They make wonderful like bookmarks if we cover them with lovely papers. There we go, got that guy off. Let's see, that is not wide enough, so it'll be this way. I'm gonna do the same thing over here and use that ditch to cut a fairly straight line. And I know I'm going to need to trim this up again. It's going to be too wide. Just probably need a sharper X-Acto blade here. Yes, Nicole, the table is never big enough. And the supplies that you want are never right where you think they ought to be. I know for a fact this is true for most crafting people that I know. You can sit in one spot, not move from your table at all, and all of your tools just disappear. It's like they walk away, kind of like that Amazon envelope that I have that I don't know where it is right now. I'm going to try to, here's a pen, and I'm going to leave just kind of like a quarter of an inch up there, and I'm going to make a mark right down here, about a quarter of an inch. Come here to that edge, and then right around here to be big enough to hold my signature. Quilting rulers. Found the Amazon envelope. There it is. So when I watched the creator earlier, and if any of you guys saw that video, if you could please tell me who it was so I can properly thank her. But I think I love the way that feels to put the crunchy too, which is really nice and tactile, and it'd be a fun addition, I think. So I'm going to use the fabric on the envelope and then use this cereal box cardboard. You know, arrange things this way or that way. I did watch most of your video today, Nicole. I didn't quite catch the end because I had to get ready and gather all my supplies for my video, but I sure enjoyed what you were doing. And every creator that I've watched has been just amazing. What a great group of generous women you are. So thank you for letting me be a part of this. You've got something special in the Crafty Bunch and in the Take 5 group, and just Nicole, you are a generous soul to have organized this. My friend Michelle is just delightful, and I know most of you know Michelle Allen, and I don't think you could know Michelle without loving Michelle, so she is a special lady. There we go. I'm getting there. I think I definitely need a new blade in this X-Acto knife. Let me see what the time, 15 minutes or so left. All right, so you see where I'm getting with it. I think this is about the right width, just a little bit bigger. I'll come up with a spine of some sort, and either use fabric. I'll probably cover the whole thing in fabric. And I can't wait to post this in the group so you can see the final results. Want to show you a couple of other trash to treasure, trash to very usable supply. Also at Costco, I bought a big box of Nespresso pods for my Nespresso machine that I have here. These seem like they're going to make wonderful hinges. Let's see if we can figure out a hinge to put somewhere. I think I don't want to use it. I don't want to put it on a page that has lots of, this is a great place to write. This is a great place for one of our ladies to be able to express herself. Maybe I'll put some pockets like this on here, but this pocket could be decorated with some of Daly's paper, some of the other papers that I have here. I'm fairly new to all the fun journaling things like fold outs and pockets and things like that. They make a journal super fun, I think. And I'm just getting the hang of doing stuff like that. So this one seems like it's going to fit here pretty much perfectly. Let's play around with that. Shall we do that together? This part will get glued down. This part will show and fold out. So I'm going to get some pretty paper. For this, I think I will go through these papers are from a pad of, this is a pad of just lightweight scrapbook paper, I guess, patterned paper. It's not heavy like some scrapbook paper. It's a lightweight patterned paper. And I'm going to find some that coordinate with Shaylee's. Let's see how that might how that might look. I do like the stripes. I think the pinks and the greens are great to go with Shaylee's designs for this event. Ooh, that's really pretty. I don't know if it goes. Um, these are textile inspired designs. I don't think the yellow is going to do it. Well, for right now, we're going to go ahead and use this. I am going to use my tape roller again. So you got that's not the right one. This is the one, that part's getting glued down. So the inside of this, I think I'm going to tape. Anybody see where my tape roller went? Anyone? Anyone at all? See where I put that guy? Up, there it is. There it is. So we're going to put these tape rollers, I think. Nope, other way. Some important things when we're adhering paper, right, is to make sure we're not getting everything all wet and wrinkly. So these tape rollers are great for that. I'm going to line this up straight. And that is the inside. This part will get glued down to the book. Got this great pair of little tiny scissors that do a great job of fussy cutting, but they are also good for any kind of paper crafting. Come around here. There we go. I am going to take one of my quotes again. Some of the other ones that I recreated for my sisters in sobriety just show up. Clarity creates change. Something that was really, really important to me when I first came to the rooms of recovery, if you will, was the advice to never compare my insides to someone else's outsides. We have a tendency to do that, I think. We think we're a mess and everybody else has their act together. And I'm going to tell you, hardly anyone has their whole act together. Most people are struggling one way or another with life and just trying to get by. So our insides are probably very similar to other people's insides. It's when we compare ourselves to how they look on the outside that we get ourselves in trouble. Um, I also shared, for me personally, I learned that my only way to win a fight with addiction was to surrender and step out of the ring. You cannot win that fight. So these are the words that I have chosen to put in my Sobriety Sisters journal here. I'm going to add, what am I going to? I'm going to add this one here, I think, that says, your soul has the answers. Get quiet and listen. And it's my hope that the journals that we are providing to the women of Ashes, and Beauty for Ashes, transitional home, it is my hope that these journals will allow them the time and space and tools to do that quiet work and listen to their inner voice and listen to the voice of God speaking to them. So this is going to get glued down. That is going to open up, and I'm going to put this right on here so it'll open. It says, your soul has the answer. Get quiet and listen. I am going to keep an eye. Oh, we have 6 minutes here before our next presenter will be coming live. So I'm using, this stuff is called art glitter. I see a lot of paper crafters use it. I love it. It's not too wet of a paint. I don't know why it has the word glitter in its name, because there is absolutely no glitter involved. So there is the note inside of this that's going to pop out that says, your soul has the answers. Get quiet and listen. To that, I'm going to add one of Shaylee's beautiful birds. Let's add the bird right there. It has been such a privilege to be a part of this effort and to be shared out in your groups. I have my own business page, Liza Jane. It's not called Liza Jane Designs anymore. It's called the Apton Creative Arts Studio, because that is my local business here in Minnesota. I have a creative space for, I say it's for the creatively curious, ages 5 to 105. And anyone over 105 is very welcome. I just, they get to come for free. So if you know anyone who's 105 or older who wants to come and create in Minnesota, they get to create and use all of my art supplies. All of it is free for anyone over the age of 105. We take younger than 5 too, but I always say a grown-up has to stay with you if you're under 5. So there we have Shaylee's beautiful embellishments added to this fold out. I will put pretty paper on this side so that when it becomes a fold out in this journal, when it becomes a part of this, I hope I didn't do it backwards. I may have to do it on a different, I don't know, you guys, but I will figure it out. We have faced tougher challenges than this, right? we have. I'm going to get that figured out. Here it is, whichever way it's going to get put into the book. I love the hidden surprises for the journal recipient. She will have lots of space to journal her heart's content and figure out some things about herself as she uses one of these journals that we're creating for her. You guys enjoy the next presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off so the new person can pop on, and I'll be watching as well. So thanks for joining me. Love to you all. And thank you again, Nicole, for doing this awesome, awesome project to support women in recovery. God bless you all. And I'll see you somewhere down the line. Bye.